Hello and welcome to Boomer and Beyond Wellness. I'm Angela Fischetti. So today's workout is a beginner's kettlebell upper body workout with supersets. Now the accessories we'll be using today will be a sticky yoga mat. I'll also be using a workout bench. However, it's not absolutely necessary. So we're going to be doing some exercises on our back facing up, and this is called a supine position. And what you can choose to do is either take it to the floor or to your bed if getting down to the floor is not accessible for you. Now, having said this, those of you who are medicated or not for hypertension, have vertigo or GERD, lying down on your backs with your head flat might not be the best thing for you. So I'm going to suggest that you get a small hand towel, fold it up. Don't let it be real thick and super high, but just a little bit elevate your head. Also, as far as the kettlebells go, I will be using a variety weighing between 5 and 15 pounds. And that's it on the accessories. So this takes us into the precautionary measures and medical disclaimers. Now that yoga mat is made out of latex, so if you have a latex allergy, please look for non-latex or latex-free. Also, if you have any back spine issues at all, but in particular, you've been told not to forward flex the spine, to not bend down to pick up something, and this could also include those of you with osteoporosis of the spine and the postural deviation known as hyperkyphosis, which has that kind of hunched appearance. So what we're going to do is demonstrate to you for 2 exercises that will be in a bent over position. Everybody's going to do it in an upright position so that you can see how you can execute it safely for you folks. Now, so we already mentioned for hypertension, vertigo, and GERD. If you have any rotator cuff muscle issues that's deep to your shoulders or pinched nerve at the neck, I will be doing an Arnold Press. So I'll be lifting the arms up and overhead. Now this could apply to those of you medicated or not for hypertension, so pay attention to this as well for you. So I will be showing you a different approach to working the deltoid muscles. Doesn't matter, we can all benefit from them, and eventually we'll all be using the kettlebells. Also, if you have carpal tunnel syndrome, please avoid this position of the wrist. This is wrist extension, doesn't matter where the arms are, but you want to make sure that your wrists are straight. And I have to say that oftentimes I do see this wrist extension going on a lot when I see other people using kettlebells. Also, if you have golfer's elbow or tennis elbow, they're also known as medial epicondylitis and lateral epicondylitis. Well, I'm going to ask you to get a little bit more medical advice to find out if any bicep or tricep work is appropriate for you. Now, what are the benefits are working with kettlebells? Well, I'm going to just focus on one big benefit to the demographic of Boomer and Beyond Wellness, and this would be an enhanced reflex reaction time. This is marvelous for us. Now, I just want to revisit the many issues that I listed here for you, the precautionary measures. These are all chronic health concerns. So if you have any chronic issue at all, then I'm going to invite you to preview the video before you participate and look for what you can do. However, if you're not sure after watching it, then I would invite the medical healthcare practitioner who knows your body best to preview the video as well and then help you make an informed decision. So a few reminders here: always feel free to stop and rest whenever you need to. However, I am not inviting you to quit. So you return to the work, even for just one more repetition, after pausing and taking a couple of breaths. Also, please make sure that you keep yourselves properly hydrated during your workout. I don't know about flavored waters and teas and all of that. I just know about water. However, if you have been advised medically to avoid drinking a lot of water because of kidney or bladder issues, please you pay attention to that advice. Also, on the channel, do look for a video that I have there. It's one video, and you can interchange the movements for both a warm-up and a cool-down, because it is advised for those of us who are 55 years and above to warm up for a full 10 minutes prior to any workout. And then within the community tab of the channel, do look for a link, and I pretty much always have it there in the community tab for you, a link to the rating of perceived exertion chart, RPE for short. This is a 0 through 10 subjective scale, and it is advised for the demographic of this channel to work out at an RPE between 3 and 6. It's really great tool for those of you with a pacemaker, who might be on certain medications like beta blockers, or simply for those of us who may not know how to take our exercise heart rate. Now, what are we going to do here today with this beginner's kettlebell upper body workout with supersets? Well, we're going to approach 10 exercises in a vertical fashion. We're going to do one set, and a set is a group of 8 to 15 repetitions for the entire vertical approach. Then we move into the supersets, where we're going to break this down into 5 blocks of 2 exercises each. So let me just make sure I covered it all for you. Yes, I have. So now we're going to begin here, as I always do, explaining how to come into an athletic ready stance, a way to stand while you're training. So I'm going to look down, just double checking that my toes are in the same line as each other. Then I'm going to bring my hands up to the high hip bone called the iliac crest. Hands go to the inside, not to the outside. And then we line up with the knees and down to the ankles. I'm going to turn to the side, because here's a position I would like you to avoid. Oftentimes, females in particular will stand where they're tipping their pelvis forward, forming what's called an anterior pelvic tilt. It's like a back bend. So what we want to do is take a nice gentle, oh, it feels so good, posterior pelvic tilt, also known as a pelvic tuck. So that's your athletic ready stance. So for our first block, we'll be doing upright rows with a bent over unilateral and bilateral back row. So that we'll be doing both arms at the same time and one side and the other. So that bent over is information that you, with the back spine flexion issues, need to stay upright. So the other thing we're going to do here to level up, for those of you who are more seasoned at strength training, I'm actually supersetting the same muscle groups. So the first round is considered the back muscles. So for your upright row, let's get into that athletic ready stance. And notice I have sort of like that okay sign, or thumbs up, I should say. And careful here with an upright row, because leading from the elbow now might be a little bit contraindicated for some shoulder issues. You can also choose to bring the arms a little bit wider. I'm going to come in a bit closer here. Pause. You want to think about an old-fashioned like clothing washboard. I used to have an aunt who would just have this board in her kitchen sink and hand wash her laundry. Yeah, that's an upright row. One more here. Pause and release. So instead of the bent over or back row, we're going to stay upright, and we will work bilaterally. I'm going to face you to begin with. Puff up the chest, shoulders back and down. I'm going to pull, pause, and release. Let's give you a diagonal view. Pause. See, so it's almost like I'm lifting my chest up toward the ceiling. I'm going to turn my back to you so that you can see the shoulder blades, the scapulae retracting. You're going to pause at the peak of the contraction right here. The breath is in and out through the nose. Exhale on the effort. Now, I want you to avoid this. Some people think they're bringing their arms further back, but it's a forward head posture. That is not great for the cervical spine of the neck. Let's go for one more and release. Now, for the next round, we're going to do a chest press. Well, that one will be done on our backs, but we're going to stay upright for those of you who do need to stay upright. And we're going to do this with a Pec Fly, all about those chest muscles. So the first exercise is going to look similar to the back row. We're going in the opposite direction. The emphasis is pushing forward. So we're working the front deltoids here, the front shoulders, the pectoral muscles, and also your tricep muscles. You want to pause at the peak of the contraction. Now you can also go with a wide grip, which I think I will be using when I use the kettlebells. Puff up the chest. One more. Pause. Slowly lower. Pectoral fly. So I bring the arms out, and it's like a big old bear hug. Or if you're an old hippie like myself, a tree hugger. Let's go a little bit of an angle here. Pause at the peak. Again, pectorals, front deltoid, tricep, but bicep is definitely involved here as well. And it's very easy to get caught up in, oh, I've got to get a lot of repetitions in a short period of time. No, the work here on this channel is not about that. I'm not saying there isn't a place for it, but not on this channel. Let's go for two more. We focus on getting you folks stronger, particularly those of us in the aging process. Pause and slowly lower. So let's just take a couple of shoulder rolls. You want to do that in between the blocks as opposed to in between the sets. Now we're going to focus on the shoulder area, and here's where I'm going to do an Arnold Press. I'm going to bend the knees, hands like so. Now the back of the hand, the backs of the hands face you. So the backs of your hands are going to face me. Inhale, I come up. Here's a rotation. Now those palms are facing you. Your palms are going to face me. I rotate back down. Exhale up. Inhale down. Be careful. A lot of people go here to go up. No, that is not an Arnold Press. And down. Now, I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you one more repetition like this, and then I'm going to show you the, here we go, the modification for those of you with pinched nerve and rotator cuff. We begin out here, 10 to 15 degrees away from the side of the body. If I begin here, I incorporate the rotator cuff, particularly that supraspinatus. We want to go out a little bit wider and take it like so. So it's a delt abduction going away from the midline and delt adduction going toward the midline. We're going to do two more this way. Pause, and down, and one more. Now, the next exercise is a bent over rear delt fly. It would look like this for those of you who don't have any issues with bending over. So what I'm going to do is do it upright here for you with my back to you, because you can see lots of scapular retraction going on here. We're working the posterior deltoid, the upper back muscles. Pause at the peak of the contraction. So it's the opposite of the bear hug, right? Let's go for one more. And slowly down. The next exercise, so now we're on the fourth block. So this would be a tricep lift and push the wheelbarrow. So think about the handles on a wheelbarrow. I actually have worked with clients who are farmers and they have to deal with that wheelbarrow. It's great tricep exercise. We'll also be doing this with a tricep overhead unilateral, one arm at a time, press or extension. So for the tricep lift and push the wheelbarrow, I'm going to bring the arms behind me, elbows are bent. Now notice the hands aren't here. It is not a kickback. It's not a kickback, okay? So I'm going to lift and exhale, push. Inhale, lift, exhale, push. So every time you extend that elbow, you are engaging the tricep muscle. Posterior deltoid is working here, upper back muscles as well. Pausing at the peak of the contraction right there. And you see from the front. One more. and slowly lower it. Now for the tricep overhead, one arm, press or extension. Oh, actually, you know what? I wanted to show you to you this way. I'm sorry. Let's go bilaterally. I think this would be a bit better for you. So you're going to interlock the fingers. Doesn't have to be a strong, strong grip here, folks, so be careful of that. So we lift the arms up and overhead, and I bend the elbows, and then I straighten the elbows. It's kind of hugging your ears with your inner arms. Pausing. So we don't want to split out like that, right? But we will be doing it unilaterally. Now, I'm going to give you another exercise for those of you with the rotator cuff and pinched nerve issues. You can simply take that other exercise, the wheelbarrow, but keep it straight elbow and just push back. Now you can do it with the palms facing each other or the palms facing the back of the room. We'll do one more like that. So now you know your modifications, right? And then for the final block, we have wide bicep curls, and we'll also be doing this with something called a bicep scoop. So it's a lateral rotation and external rotation from the shoulder, elbows braced alongside the ribs, and I curl. When you are using the kettlebells, the beautiful thing about the kettlebells is, wow, it brings in those forearm muscles, which is fantastic because, let's face it, forearms, wrist areas, these are osteoporotic sites. But for some males, doing this external rotation at the shoulder can be dicey. So you can always go into your basic bicep curl. That is fine. We'll do 2 more repetitions like this. Remember, golfer's tennis elbow, bicep, tricep. You need to find out about it. Great. Now, for the bicep scoop, I don't know, that's what I call it. I don't know what to call it. So it's an isometric contraction of your bicep muscle. The elbows are bent at 90 degrees, and I lift and lower. I'm maintaining the 90 degrees the entire time, folks. Sometimes you'll see people go into the bicep curl, and I'm just trying to approach it a little differently. It's good to vary the exercises, surprise the body. Athletic ready stance. Exhale as you lift, inhale to lower. Pause at the peak, great. Let's go for one more. And slowly down and lower. Let's take a couple of shoulder rolls. I'm ready for the kettlebells, folks, so let's do this. First round will be upright rows with the bent over back row done both bilaterally and unilaterally. So I'm using 8-pounders for the upright rows. Athletic ready and up. So you can experiment. You can bring your hands closer together or wider apart. I don't know, it's up to you. I need a little wider apart because I'm still recuperating from a shoulder issue on my real right shoulder. Some of you may know that a shoulder press machine at my gym, it absolutely broke on my shoulder. So while I was working on the machine, and so I'm recovering, but I'm doing much better. And part of the reason why is using kettlebells. They're wonderful to work with. Let's go for one more. Exhale, pause, and control it down. Then we're going to do that bent over back row, both bilaterally and unilaterally. I'm using 15-pounders, standing with the legs wide apart. Head is up, pull. Now alternate. Both. Unilateral, bilateral, exhale, yeah, I get quiet when I'm working. One more. Okay, back to superset. We got to do those upright rows again. we go. Take it a bit on an angle for you. Shoulders back and down. Here we go. I do my upright rows a little differently now since my injury. My elbows are not the highest point of the body. Typically they are, but actually for some of us with the shoulder issues, we have to keep those elbows a little bit lower than the shoulders. Exhale. One more. All right, now back rows. One at a time. Both. Unilateral. Bilateral. Notice I keep the head up. Very important for those of you medicated or not for hypertension, have vertigo or GERD. You don't want to drop the head down. I don't know, I might have just repeated it, but that's okay. Bilateral, unilateral. One more. And slowly down. Let me get these out of the way. For the next round, I'm going to be using, for chest press and Pec Fly, I'm going to use 10 pounders for the chest press, wide grip, and 5 pounders for the Pec Fly. So here we go. Slowly roll down. If you have back issues, you can place one foot or both up on the bench if you like. Puff up the chest. Find a spot on the ceiling and reach for it. You don't want to collapse the chest down when the arms are lifted. There's a slight arch in the back. Let's go for 2 more. Pause. 1 more. Easy as you lower them down. Be careful here. I'm going to grab my 5 pounders now. Big bear hug. Remember, those of you who need to be upright, perfectly okay to do it. But with the upright work, you'll probably need lower weight. Pause at the peak. Now notice I'm not letting the hands touch each other. It has to do with the attachments of the pectoralis muscle. So you don't want to clank your weights together that you'll hear a lot of times at the gym. 1 more. And slowly come up. Let's go grab the weights again for the chest press. 10 pounders. It's also good to vary up the type of equipment that you use to train. I don't want the body to second guess anything. Give it a little surprise now and then. Going for 2 more. Lots of work abdominally here. Easy does it. Going for the 5 pounders for the Pec Fly. Again, you'll notice on that Pec Fly how much the bicep does work. Stop and rest when you need to, but don't quit. my real breath here, folks. One more. Oh, yeah. Whoa. That's great. I love it. I love it. Okay, what is my next round? It's going to be the Arnold Press with the bent over rear delt. So we're going to keep those 5s. I'm going to grab the 8s here. Move this one. I'm going to demonstrate this one seated. I want to make sure you can see the hands with the weights, okay? So the Arnold Press. Remember, you can do the delt abduction, adduction as an alternative for those of you with rotator cuff and pinch nerve. It's really cool to do this one unilaterally as well. One more. I'm going to go for one more. And slowly down. Okay, the bent over rear delt fly. Those of you who can do it upright is fine. Here we go. Belly button in, protect your back. One more. And back to Arnold Press. I prefer you stand, because that's what we do mostly in life, but if you must sit, go for it. This is just for demonstration purposes. One more. And slowly down. Back to the bent over rear delt fly. One more, and down. Now, we're going to head into the tricep work. So we're going to do the tricep lift and push the wheelbarrow. I'll be using 5-pounders for these. And then the unilateral approach to the tricep overhead extension. It's also known as a tricep overhead press. And I'll be using 8-pounders for that. So here we go. Elbows back, they're bent. Inhale, lift. Exhale, push. Let me tell you something, folks. When you have the weights out behind you, there is so much core activated here. Abdominals, back extensor muscles. The quadriceps are in there. The glutes are in there. The hamstrings, they're all working here for you. And of course, triceps, posterior deltoid, rhomboids, forearm muscles are engaged here. Oh, one more. I do not have a high tolerance for this. Okay, now I'm going to grab 1/8 and show it seated again. So arm comes up, you're supporting your working arm, and down and up. You want to be careful. I don't want to be screaming into the microphone. You want to be careful that the weight doesn't hit your head. One more. Easy as you lower it down. Other side. You might find one arm is stronger than the other. It's just something to note. Play a little catch up with the weaker side by doing an extra set. Whoa. Whoa. I'm going to try one more. Oh, gosh. Back to the tricep. Lift and push the wheelbarrow. Lift and push. Lift and push. One more. Relax it down. Remember, you can do your straight arm push back as well, also known as a press back. Oh, gosh. Okay. Not easy supersetting the same muscles. Two more. Easy lowering down. Support it if you need to. Control that working arm. Oh, one more. Oh, I almost didn't make that. Okay. Now, for the final block, we have the wide bicep curls, and we're doing this along with the bicep scoop. So I will be using 8-pounders for the wide curls. If you need to go straight on, that's fine. You step back a little so you can see. So much work here on the forearms as well. One more. And then for the bicep scoop, 90 degrees, right? One more. Biceps, pecs, front delt, all working. Back to the wide curls. Be careful, right? With carpal tunnel and golfers and tennis elbow. Last one. Slowly lower. Last set, my friends, last set. Here we go. So you will have done 20 sets. So at the end of this, I'm going to invite you over to the warm-up and cool-down video. Take several minutes to properly cool down. One more. And slowly down. So let's just take a couple of movements here together. Nice big shoulder rolls, up, back, and down. Up, back, and down. Let's release those bicep muscles by pushing the walls away. Be careful here with carpal tunnel. It is a wrist extension. You straighten your hands and reach out through the middle fingers, lengthening the entire length of the arm from the palm right on up to the front of the shoulders. And then inhale, turn the thumbs down. Exhale, interlock the fingers behind you. Clasp the thumbs, puff up the chest. Careful if you're standing like this. You could always use a yoga strap or a towel behind you, and you will still be able to open up the chest and the front delts and lengthen those arms. And then let's do a nice lateral flexion here, side body work. So I'm standing with the feet just a bit wider than the hips, and the toes are in the same line as each other. I'm going to slide down with the right hand, trying to reach that outer right ankle. Left hand to the waist for those of you with pinched nerve or rotator cuff. Otherwise, you can bring that arm up and over, reaching out through both sets of middle fingers, stretching the intercostal muscles between the ribs, the obliques at the waist. Breath in and out through the nose. Inhale, let's turn that palm up. Grab an imaginary hook. Exhale, push down into your left heel. Vigorously reach out to the side and slide down. Sliding up, arm up and over if appropriate for you. And breathe. It's a delicious stretch. Inhale, palm up, grab that hook, reach out. Exhale, come back to center. Another couple of shoulder rolls. And that's what we've got for you today, folks, here at Boomer and Beyond Wellness. And I am inviting you to please subscribe to my new newsletter, which will be out by the end of this particular week. And I'm excited about it. And to thank you for subscribing, each of you who becomes a subscriber will receive a workout video that's designed exclusively for subscribers. And don't forget, subscribe to the channel, share, comment, hit that notification bell. Until next time, eat your greens, drink your water, and yeah, eat your beans and be well. Thanks so much.